207.
Right, right.
And it was held in Turkey. It was quite an exposure for me because I got to see many other awardees, but not only that, the culture that they brought into the picture. I got to interact with a lot of their teammates, the delegations that flew in. I was actually quite heartened and inspired to see so many other people from different nations doing very innovative things to better our world, make our world a better place. So there were cross sections of different types of projects that we were involved in that really inspired me, and actually I brought back a lot of learning tips as well. There was a water treatment center in Cambodia. Environmental issues were addressed in Europe, going green, and not only that, advocacy for people and human rights. And it really broadened my exposure to just to my limited understanding of human services. So it was a great time. Of course I was ecstatic. I was like, okay, so whoa, world stage. But at the same time, because this was like the first time I was experiencing this kind of work at that level, I didn't know what to expect. And there was anticipation, but at the same time I felt this was just a duty for me to represent in a way as a voice for my generation or even the generation after, say that we can do it. And we should rise up to take ownership of our country, of our society and communities to make it a better place. So it was a more concrete call for me to be an active citizen at a global platform. I think I was pretty used to just Singapore, doing youth work in Singapore, getting active in the community and the ministry level, government projects and all that. So all I knew was about Singapore, but at the global platform, things were really different. Concerns were varied, and yet seeing how that linked back to Singapore, our safe, prosperous nation, and how we can contribute outwardly as well. So that globalized my thinking, and I saw a lot more opportunities. I was actually excited to see what other opportunities for cross-cultural related engagement, exchanges and projects could be done. So that excitement with the kind of anticipation, with the kind of uncertainty were what I felt in that instant actually. Understanding and exposure, particularly in cross-cultural engagement. I did something with Malaysia and Thailand. I'm continuing to do that in terms of school engagement. Personally, because of my own achievement, the award was I was awarded for personal development and accomplishment. So I do have a story to tell of how I overcome my own personal setbacks in life, being an ex-offender and now actually contributing back to society. So with that, I was inspired to multiply the story, not just my own, but others around me, ex-offenders. And not just in Singapore, but now in Thailand. I've been visiting some of the prisons, but tying in some of the projects and programs to help ex-offenders become active citizens in their own societies by sharing their own stories, sharing their own hardships, the difficult circumstances, the challenges of how they overcome their own setbacks into the school. One such project was called Back to Your Future. Back to Your Future is a chronological concept of ex-offenders coming back into the future of young minds, young people, students, telling them our stories, telling them that they don't need to learn things the hard way, they can learn from us, and set proper goals and aspirations so that their future will be more secure in a positive and desirable way. So that was one of the really exciting projects that I was privileged to be able to bring out of Singapore into Thailand and now even in Malaysia. I've had the opportunity to also work with Cambodia, the award winner from Cambodia back then, the World Awardee. And we had, at least during that year, 2008, we had some exchanges. He came over to Singapore, we had a good time of dialogue to see how I could bring student groups, student bodies to volunteer and go for overseas community involvement program, and for him it was more of the water treatment works, providing clean water in an innovative way so that every village, every rural sub-urban community could be able to do their own water treatment, because waterborne diseases were very high back then. Yeah. So this was good exposure for our own youth to be able to be exposed and to be able to contribute at that so-called global stage. I think this is a pretty challenging question to answer, because firstly I'm talking about myself and what I think about how I was committed. But when we look at people's efforts, performances and results of their efforts, we tend to see it from a product-oriented, or rather the result-oriented perspective. What they have produced with their hands, how they have contributed in terms of very tangible outcomes, what they say, what they do, how they behave. And that's just us. Humanly, we just want to see the end result, without realizing that it takes a whole process before a result is achieved. So for me, I guess it's not just the one-time efforts or results that got me my nomination. It was a whole journey of learning, whole journey of failing, making the mistakes, and then re-strategizing, climbing back up, bouncing back up, which pointed to some root values, I would say. So it's not just the competency or the ability to produce those results, but what drives a person to even begin embarking on that process of change. Is it resilience? Is it the ability to see beyond himself in a very unselfish, self-sacrificial even for many of the awardees? Seeing that place in this world, in their societies, beyond just who they are and what they can get in their own lifetime. Leaving a legacy as a value and a vision that way beyond their time is up here on earth, they will have left a whole legacy, maybe even generations of people who were inspired because of his own actions to do good. These are what drives me, and these are probably what drives, these are common denominators in any of these world class or world awardees in terms of their outlook, their perspective and value system. And I think it's on those bases that a person should be nominated. Thank you very much. Is it okay?
Good.
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 Firstly, to be recognized at a world stage, because when I went there in 2007, there were a lot of questions. Some of them, as usual, the usual questions are, where is Singapore even? Is it part of China? They're still asking that kind of question. In a way, tongue-in-cheek, quite humorous, but at the same time quite sad and disappointing. Knowing that other countries are being recognized for the contributions of individuals, and yet we know Singaporeans in Singapore and also in Asia, there are also innovators. There are also key people who can make a difference, and they have shown the way, they have blazed the trail. So it is important for this to be done, and I feel that we are in a season where a new stage of recognition is given to us as an opportunity, and we need to be able to do that. And how can Singaporeans participate in this recognition process? I think it's to nominate more people, to keep an eye out, because there are many unseen, sometimes behind the scenes kind of people who are doing good work, and they're unrecognized. They're not pushed to the light, so to speak. I think it's about time that we recognize this. I think in a restrictive society like Singapore, we tend to adopt what we call a deficit model. We're always catching people doing wrong. In the schools, at homes, parents, families. So let's adopt a positive strengths-based, asset-based approach. Catch people doing right for the first time. The news is peppered with problems, with disgraceful acts, embarrassing situations. Let's catch people, let's highlight and report news of people doing good. Young, youthful people, students who made that little effort, going the extra mile to make their environment a better place. So my encouragement to all Singaporeans to start nominating, start observing, start catching, and start contributing their nominations of the very ordinary Singaporean, the man on the street. I think that would